Welcome back, my friends. So if you're into the MiSTer FPGA project, we have a huge update today that we're going to quickly go over. Now, if you're not up to date on what MiSTer is and you're curious, I do have a playlist. I'll link that in the description so you can get caught up. I have tons of tutorials, test videos, just a lot of stuff concerning it. Now, MiSTer FPGA, essentially, it's an FPGA implementation of a bunch of retro video game consoles, retro computers, and arcade machines. It's an awesome option to play our old school games, especially, FPGA implementation is really hot right now. And today what we're going to be looking at is TurboGrafx-16, the core. So it just got an update. Now, you might be like, okay, what's the big whoop, right? Well, we now have PC Engine CD and TurboGrafx CD implementation. So FPGA implementation of the CD add-ons for those consoles. Really awesome stuff. There are tons of great games for both the PC Engine and TurboGrafx CD. Tons of shooters, things that never came out in the US. It's really sweet with all the games we could play. And it's very simple to get your system updated. So what you're going to want to do is simply just run your MiSTer updater script. Now, if you're not doing it that way, I will put links in the description so you can manually update everything you need. Just update your MiSTer main, your TurboGrafx core. Now, the cool thing is this is not a whole separate core. It's just an update to the TurboGrafx core. So you don't need to have any additional cores added. It's just an update. Really sweet stuff. Now, if everything was successful, you will have this insert CDXQ on your TurboGrafx core to boot up CD games. Now, there's going to be a couple things you have to keep in mind with this. But we'll go ahead and test a game real quick. I only have a handful of CD-based games in here. Lords of Thunder, might as well load that up. Super CD-ROM system, there you go. Press the run button. Now, the installation of this after you have everything updated, there's a couple little things you have to do. In order to play CD-ROM games, you're going to have to make sure that the game images are in bin and Q format, not ISO or CHD, nothing like that. You're going to have bin and Q. That's the only way they're going to load up properly on this setup. Now, the other thing you're going to have to do is have a folder named TGFX16-CD. All your games need to be thrown in there for your CD-based games. So you could have, Dracula X in its own folder with its bin and Qs. You're going to put that inside the TGFX16-CD folder. That's the only way you'll be able to load them up. I tried various different ways, putting them into, the folder with my TurboGrafx and PC Engine games, and I couldn't get it to work that way. You have to use that folder on the root of your memory card in order to load them up. Now, the other thing that you're going to have to keep in mind as well is obviously you're going to need a BIOS file. Now, the BIOS that you're going to want to use or look for or make sure you have is going to be the Japanese Super CD-ROM version 3. That is what is recommended for maximum compatibility, right? Now, you could use other BIOS files. You could set the BIOS files separately for each game. You would just put whatever BIOS you want to use into the folder for that specific game. Say, for example, you have an issue with that BIOS file. You could use something else that works and just put it in the game folder for each individual game. But you're just going to put that BIOS file into that TGFX16 folder for use for all your games. Like I said, unless you want to use a different one per game, then you would put it inside the folder of that game, if that makes sense. If you have any questions, just drop a comment down below. I'll try to help out the best I can. Now, once you have that BIOS file, you do need to rename it because it may be named something else. Might have the PCE file extension, that kind of thing. It does need to be renamed to cd_bios.rom in order for it to work. So keep that in mind. If you have it named something else, it may not work. So I'll have all the links in the description so you can take a look at this. But let's go ahead and load something else up. There we go. If you don't update MiSTer and you just update the TurboGrafx core, most likely these games will not load properly. They'll load like very slowly and then nothing will happen. So do make sure you update everything, your MiSTer main and the TurboGrafx core in order to play these games. But I think this is really sweet. The TurboGrafx and PC Engine is getting a lot of attention lately. Especially we had the TurboGrafx-16 Mini launch, and we're still waiting on a hack for that, which will be pretty awesome, I hope anyway. But with FPGA implementation, you're getting a more accurate, implementation of these consoles and games. Some people that may not matter too much. Some people it will. There's definitely benefits and, cons to going the MiSTer route. The cons mainly is going to be the price. For some people looking at it, getting a full setup to have everything compatible with the system, you're going to be in it like a few $100. Like, yeah, you can get started at the $140 price range, under $200, get going. But once everything's said and done, you update the RAM, get an IO board, USB hub, all that kind of stuff. If you're trying to keep it fancy, you could spend a couple $100 or more, more for sure if you're getting everything going there. But I mean, to keep it simple, you could definitely spend less than $200. You just won't have all the compatibility, and that's mainly going to be a very small percentage of like Neo Geo games anyway. So keep that in mind. I will have links in the description for everything you would need for MiSTer, for all the items that I am using anyway. So take a look at that if you are interested. But I think this is really sweet. Like I said, TurboGrafx been getting a lot of love lately, PC Engine a lot of love, and this is just another option, a very accurate option for us to play. And I think it's pretty cool. So, hey, really do appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. And with that said, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out, bye-bye, and boom. Bye.